Welcome, everybody, to episode number 65 of the Sports Blitz as we welcome you in on a Thursday night. Hope everybody is doing well out there, and thanks for tuning in to another episode. As always, I'm Robbie, joined, as always, by Doug. Doug, how are you tonight, my friend?
Oh, that's me.
Yes, you.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about somebody else in the room. Obviously, there's nobody else in the room, so it must be me. Doing very well, Robbie. Long day, but very happy to be on our next episode and looking forward to a real exciting show. Hey, listen, if you're under a rock, you're in a cave, come on out, listen to the show, and go back in because it ain't safe out.
Yeah.
Man.
It's getting worse by the day.
That's right. It is.
Sad part is that's true.
That's correct.
But, very excited to be back with, as I like to call it, OG Sports Blitz episode with just Doug and I here talking. When I told you I was going to drop it in there.
You did. He
by the way,
did, folks.
Before we start, though, I do want to give a quick final shout-out to David Ostrowski for joining us last week. Awesome time having him on. Again, please check out the book Pro Sports in 1993. Definitely a must read.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we really enjoyed welcoming him to our show last week and had a great time. So thank you again, David, and
thanks so much.
Best
man.
of luck with the book sales. We really can't wait.
Absolutely, and he's got another one that's coming out, so we're gonna have him on again.
Yep, nice. Little, he had a nice little advanced plug there for the second book, which is pretty cool.
Oh, good.
So let's jump right into it here. Obviously, with a team that is actually playing tonight as we speak here, and that is the good old New England Patriots, who currently, for the first time since week 4, sit at 500 with a 6-6 overall record. I know it's crazy town here. 6-6 as the Patriots improve.
Taking my pulse. Go ahead.
Yeah, seriously, you're still alive. You're still here. As Tom Brady said back in 2018, still here. The whole hashtag of the moment. But anyway, 6-6 Pats coming off an absolutely dominating performance last Sunday in a 45-0 win over the LA Chargers. Just an absolute beatdown of a game, Doug, and kind of surprising that it was that one side, given some of the games the Patriots have been in so far this season. So I guess that's where I kind of want to start off with you tonight, is just sort of your overall reaction to the victory this past Sunday, but also just how surprised were you at the one-sidedness of Sunday's victory over the Chargers?
Well, I was certainly pleasantly surprised about the win, but I really wasn't surprised because the Chargers actually, what's the word for it? Well, they suck. Sorry for the foul language, but it's really, they're not good. Not good at all. So, I was surprised. Family show. That's right. It's a family show. Sorry about that. They're really, really bad.
Oh, by the way, sorry to cut you out there for one moment. But if you do hear us saying random words, like in the middle of us talking, and stuff like that, because we have, as one of our fun sort of in-show segments, our live chat is going, which basically is Doug and I typing things back and forth to each other, like family show, and then
that's right.
We'll repeat what the other person says live on air because we really can't keep things to ourselves. It's just
we call them chat words, and let me tell you, sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's kind of inside, but sometimes it's really weird to hear those words and just go.
Well, we are inside. We are inside in general.
Yeah, but I just meant that it.
I know.
It's all good. We love doing it, so it's a lot of it's going to be funny. So you'll hear those words during the time. But I think when it comes to the Chargers, they're just really not a good team. Now, not to give anything away from the Patriots because that was a solid win.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, it's
all three phases too.
Yeah,
all
these guys play once a week, so it's not like baseball where you play like every day.
Right.
And sometimes you play the same team, 3 or 4 times in that same week. So it's a totally different kind of situation. But when it comes down to it, you were absolutely right with your opening there, Robbie. It was a dominating kind of situation.
Yeah.
Not a lot of passing, a lot of running, and I just thought it was. I wasn't surprised about the win. I was surprised that they dominated so well, so much against the Chargers, even if the Chargers were a bad team because they are. But I was surprised because we haven't seen that yet.
No.
That's what I was surprised about, is we haven't seen it. We haven't seen them go through a game and all 4 phases were this close to being perfect.
Yeah.
So it was just a different experience. It was great to see. It was just strange to be able to see that. My thought process is that, can they do that again? Can they do it tonight?
Right.
Maybe not with the same outcome because, maybe not. But it's obvious that it's possible for them to do this. All 3 phases, actually 4 phases. What's the 4th phase? Name me 4 phases there, Robbie.
Well, there's the offense, the defense, special teams.
Yep.
Coaching?
You got it. That's 4 phases right there. So all the four phases, 3 phases for the players.
4 phases of Patriot.
4 phases, right. All the 4 phases were just like clockwork. Like so that they came into the game with a great plan. They executed the plan and they executed it well. Can they do that more consistently now? Because as far as I'm concerned, they got to win out. If they win tonight's game, which again it's 8-17. So it's just about started, or I think it's probably 8:20 or 25, so 23 or something.
8:20 kick, yeah.
8:20, yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that.
And by the way, just so everybody, to ease your concerns, I am not watching the game, so my focus is going to be 100% here during the entire time.
Yeah. No, I'm not watching it either. We have to, because this show will be us watching the Patriots game, but not anything else. Not talking about sports.
I will be getting alerts on my phone, but I will not have the game on the TV.
We will have notifications, and we will tell you if there's a significant notification that we have to tell you about.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's if they win tonight, my thought process is that, wait a minute, what's going on here? Was Cam Newton there was a thought process this morning that Bill Belichick told Cam Newton, you know what, we're gonna save it for like the later games. You just throw the ball in the dirt now, and then what we'll do in the playoffs is we'll do really well, and we'll surprise them.
They got to get there first.
I know. Well, that's the issue, is that I really do think that they got to win out to be able to.
Oh yeah. No,
to be able to do that.
They absolutely.
That's just my opinion.
No, they absolutely have to win. We're going to get into playoff hope and sort of playoff path here coming up in just a minute. But I want to point out somebody that just burst onto the scene in a big way on Sunday, and that is good old Gunnar Olszewski. I mean, who saw that performance coming? 2 punt return TDs and a catching TD. The guy looked like he was shot out of a freaking cannon on Sunday. He was. I mean, it was just so impressive to see him, who really, he hasn't really contributed, anything substantial so far overall, and to see him sort of come out and play the way he did on Sunday was just very, very impressive. I just wanted to give a shout out to Gunnar on a very, very job well done.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Where did that come from? I
I
mean,
don't even
Gunnar
think
was
Bill Belichick
fantastic.
saw that coming. Probably.
Probably not. But again, talk about the Chargers. Their run defense is horrible. Their special teams even worse.
I mean, Justin
I'm not.
Herbert
I'm not.
has potential
Yeah.
has potential. I mean, he's a good young quarterback, but the Patriots made him look like the rookie he is. I mean, the
Right.
Patriots sort of showed
Right.
that he's not quite to this level yet. He's maybe like down, just down here, but he's not quite up to here yet when it comes down to it.
That's good. I like that. I like that. Showing that the levels are super important. No, I like that. That's really good. That's levels. Yes, the levels are super important. No, I never saw the Gunner thing happen at all. I think that's not necessarily surprising because I think I've been.
Well, didn't the week before, didn't he return one, but then it was called back? Yeah.
Yes.
So
did. So it's there.
We've seen glimpses
It's
of
there.
it. Yes, we definitely have seen glimpses of it.
It's definitely there. Hey, listen, I've been gunning for him for a long time.
Jeez.
What? I thought that was pretty good. You didn't like that? That wasn't good? I thought it was good.
It
was good.
If it's scale of 1 to 10, it was.
There it goes with the levels again.
It was about at I'll be generous and say 6.57-ish.
Okay, that's not too bad. I don't mind that. But the Russian judge is giving me an 8, so we're good. So, and the German judge is giving me a 7, so a little above what you gave.
And the Korean judge is giving you an 11, so who knows what's going on.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
Out of 10, yeah.
Yeah.
So that, of course, makes sense. But I think, I mean, nobody saw that coming, and it was great. It was great to see that. He was just phenomenal. He was like on fire. I mean, absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I think all 4 phases were just done so close to perfection. It was just a great game to see. The issue I have, Robbie, and I want your opinion about this too, is I mean, this is just one game against a horrible team. They're playing a really, really good team tonight. Can they sustain this?
It's a good question. It's a really good question. I don't know the answer because when they've it's interesting because like when they've gone up against the better teams like the Buffaloes, the Kansas City. Now obviously Kansas City Cam was not in there due to his little battle with COVID that he had. But when they've gone up against the better teams, you've seen the inconsistency sort of come out more often because they've had their moments. Don't get me wrong, like Seattle, Buffalo, certain points against the Chiefs. I mean, they certainly show that they can play up to any level of competition. The problem is that
one play away too, Robbie. One play away from
both of those games, all those games. Well, not the Kansas City game, but in those.
No, not the Kansas City.
Definitely. But I think that they definitely have the potential in any game to really play to that level that we saw on Sunday. It's just a question of will they? And it's obvious, that the big thing heading into tonight is that the one sort of negative that I saw was Cam was still continuing to struggle with throwing the football. Now, granted, they didn't go the air a ton, but he only had 69 yards through the air. And to beat a team like the Rams, you're going to have to throw the ball. You're going to have to throw the ball because their defensive line is
their run defense with Donald is
their defensive line is one of the better defensive lines in the entire NFL.
That's correct.
I mean, so
not going to be able to run too much.
You're not going to be able to run. You're not going to be able to run the ball, run over the Rams like you were the Chargers. Period. End of story. So you're going to have to throw the ball, and Cam has just not shown that he's consistent throwing the football. He has his moments, but he's really going to have to come into his own throwing the ball if they want to truly win the game. Can he do it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I say I'm not counting them out at all tonight. Don't get me wrong. But it's going to take a more consistent efforts in the few areas that sort of were still a bit of a struggle in that Charger game, along with performing like they did against the Chargers in all those other aspects. So I definitely think it's doable. I hope that they pull it out. But definitely going to be a lot more of a challenge tonight going up against the Rams than it was
Yeah, big time.
on Sunday.
Big time. I mean, especially the defense. Their defense is absolutely supreme. It's a great run defense, and I just think that you're right. I think they have to have Cam throw the ball a lot more tonight than he's going to be doing running, and it's just the way it's got to be. But this is good test. Good test. It's a great test, actually. So we'll
especially heading down the home stretch. Yeah, basically this is the last quarter of the season. I mean, 4 games remaining. So
right, exactly.
They definitely gotta get the job done. Like you said, every game is a must-win from here on out. Period. End of story. So, but what I did, it's interesting, Doug. You sort of bring up Cam and sort of that victory on Sunday, because if you folks have been watching, get the job done exactly. If you folks watched a few episodes ago, we sort of started a little new segment that we're calling "What Was Cam Thinking," featuring my brilliant co-host Doug here. Yeah,
thank you,
Doug.
Thank you.
And so what I wanted to do tonight is sort of tap into that segment and ask the question, Doug, what was Cam thinking during the 45-0 beatdown of the San Diego Chargers on Sunday?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, Robbie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my chair. I'm going to put the Cam shirt on. And when I put the Cam shirt on, for some reason, magically, it's magic. Magic is illusion, and illusion is magic. What happens is that this is not really an illusion. It's more delusional, actually. Now that I think about it, it's not a magic illusion, right? Magically, what happens is that I channel Cam Newton and channel what he was thinking in the last game, and I will show you what he was thinking. But if you hold on just a second,
yeah, definitely.
You have to talk a little bit while I'm doing
this.
this.
I'll entertain the people. But yeah, so this is quite something, folks. This transformation that takes place. Yeah, there's the Cam jersey right there. He's going off camera, but yeah, by the way, in case anybody was wondering, the game just kicked off. Pats and Rams. Like I said, I will try to provide some updates when possible during throughout tonight's show. So don't get me wrong. Oh boy, he's here. He is dressed for the occasion. He's got the ball. He has not fumbled it yet. So we've got Doug, aka Cam Newton, in the house. So Cam, what were you thinking during Sunday's victory?
I was thinking, guess what? I'm not going to pass. I'm going to run. It's 45-0. Woohoo!
There goes Cam running in for another touchdown. He scored again against the Chargers, and it's 5 days after the game.
Hey, did you guys see Cam Newton come through here?
Yeah, you just missed him. Shouldn't he be in LA though? Shouldn't he be in LA?
He should, but he's not here.
Well, hopefully he's teleporting back as we speak. But yeah, so it's interesting because obviously, as we were just talking about, the Pats currently stand at 6-6. They are currently in the Rams just scored a touchdown just 4 minutes into the game, so they currently lead 7-0. Anyway, we're just gonna ignore that.
Doesn't mean anything yet, Robbie.
Just first drive. But it's interesting. So the Pats at 6-6 right now, currently in 10th in the AFC. And, basically, as Doug and I were saying, they need to win out. Period. End of story. If they want to have any chance at making the playoffs, and then they need some help, obviously, from the teams that are above them. So what I want to ask you, Doug, right here, right now, as, again, the Patriots currently losing 7-0 early to the Rams in week number 13, is there I want to figure out how to phrase this. What kind of path, or how plausible is the path for the right here, right now? Yes, exactly. I want to ask you right here, right now.
So when we're talking about the Patriots, it's more or less that they have to. My idea is the path to get there is to win out. Now they can lose today and kind of have other teams lose and kind of get in that way. I think that's the less possible kind of situation.
Right.
I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit, no pun intended. I don't know where that pun comes from, but that's okay.
Pats really got to stop shooting themselves.
Yeah, they really have to stop doing that.
Don't stop pulling plaxico bursts.
No, you can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. It's real dangerous.
Yeah.
With some of the easier games, not easier, but some of the easier teams and some of the, the beginning was horrible. The beginning of the season was terrible.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing is, they have basically. You think about, those early games, like the Seattle game when they were a yard away, the Buffalo game with Can fumble, are just glaring games that are coming back to haunt them right now because. They could conceivably be 8-4 right now, and in much more in the playoff conversation as opposed to right now, basically needing a whole bunch of things to happen in order to earn a playoff berth.
That they're not necessarily in control of their own destiny.
No.
So they are, because if they win out, they're in control. They have to win, obviously.
But they need help from other teams, too.
They do need help from other teams,
even if they win out.
Right.
They need help from other teams, even if they win out.
Yes, and I agree with that, too. That's the only road that I can think of that would be anyway plausible, because you can't rely on other teams.
No.
Every once in a while you get lucky, but you can't just rely on other teams. You gotta think about.
You gotta do your job.
Think about the next game. Go through the next game, end it. Go to the next one. So that's typically what happens.
That is what happens in the NFL schedule. Is you end one game, go to another.
It is. I think what I'm saying is that that's how you control your own destiny. Is that you control, obviously, whether you win or lose. So, and they didn't do a good job of that at the beginning of the season. That's where it comes from.
Yeah. And they're paying the price right now because they're playing better and yet still very much on the outside looking in.
Sorry, I thought you meant there was somebody on the outside looking into my house.
No.
Okay.
No. Don't you worry about that. But so the last thing
that I wanted
to touch on Patriots was obviously there's been a lot of talk continuing. It sort of seems like it goes week to week about Cam Newton.
Things typically do.
Yeah, and sort of his view, but this talk especially, there's never really been a consistent sort of feel to the talking points by whether it be fans or sports radio or whoever it may be as to Cam's future here in New England. Some weeks it's talking points, exactly. Some weeks it's Cam should they should re-sign Cam and bring him back next year. And other weeks it's that they should start fresh with either Stidham or somebody
Wentz
from the outside, or
Wentz is a possibility, and there's a couple
Prescott.
others too.
Dak Prescott. I keep hearing a name. I keep hearing.
I've heard of that too.
So that's what I want to kind of ask you here, Doug. Is as we sit here in week 13 of the season. And I know, obviously this season is still a few weeks from being over, but sort of way, way early looking ahead to next year, who would you like to see as the Pats' number one quarterback? And sort of on top of that, and it may be the same thing, who ultimately do you think it'll be when 2021 comes around?
That's a great question. I wish I could I have my crystal ball. I might have my crystal football maybe over there, or maybe the orange basketball right here. I don't have one of those. I don't think I have. Unfortunately, I'd love to answer the question, and a lot of things have been bantering around. I think ultimately the issue is that I don't have enough information. I haven't seen him enough. Right now in my thought process, he's not a bad quarterback before you get your quarterback for the future.
Yeah.
I would rather have him than some of the other people that I've heard people talk
I'd rather have him right now than the other two quarterbacks on our roster. I'll tell you pretty much.
Definitely. That's a given. That's definitely a given.
Didn't look half bad in his sort of, mop up duty.
5 minutes that he was in.
He did throw a touchdown pass.
I know, but still, I mean, come on.
I know.
Who was he playing against?
The Chargers, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
I know.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good sample right there. It was good to see. I didn't have a problem seeing that. It was nice. It was nice to see. Yeah. And again, talking about the full package again, all four phases, including a second string quarterback. So not a bad kind of situation. The issue is that there's not a big sample size right now. I know that there's somebody on sports radio right now in the morning who is it's actually Jermaine Wiggins. And I love Jermaine. Jermaine's awesome. I want him to come on this show because he would be awesome. He's an ex tight end for the Patriots, part of, I think, at least one, definitely part of one of the Super Bowls that.
Yeah, against the Panthers.
Yeah, against the Panthers. And so he's just awesome, but he loves.
Wait, was he? Was he on the Super Bowl team again? Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, because wasn't he on the Panthers too at one point later on down the road?
I think he was. I'm not sure about that, but
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
We do a little initial research anyway. Keep talking.
Right, but he's just great because he's got these wiggyisms and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty funny. Some of the stuff he says is pretty funny too.
Do you remember when he was at the? I think it was the last. No, it must have been. I think it was the Falcons Super Bowl or whatever. One of those 3 Super Bowls in a row. They did the send off rally. It's they hate us because they jealous us or something like that.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. He's got a lot of interesting things that he says, and I just
very much.
I love listening to him on radio, but I think it's great. But he loves Canada. I mean, he was saying in the second game that they should give him a 4-year contract. They should give him a 4-year contract. And now, am I into that? No, I'm not into that. But I just thought it was interesting how there are certain people on sports radio that are talking about how he's a really good bridge quarterback.
By the way, I do have to correct us. Wiggy was part of the first Super Bowl winning team that beat the Rams. He was on the Carolina Panthers when they faced the Patriots.
Oh, okay.
Well, obviously, one of the Patriots.
Okay. So it's. I think what it comes down to, I think he's a good bridge quarterback.
Yeah.
Don't really know what Bill's going to do yet. Don't know whether he's going to say bye-bye to Stidham. Don't know whether Stidham is a future of what he has planned. I don't think he is. I think there are quarterbacks. I know that Bill was salivating, if I could say it right, salivating over Trevor Lawrence, but I don't think that's gonna happen. He needs to lose out to get Trevor Lawrence, not to win out.
No, you're not. It's not happening.
No, that's not happening. So
the Jets are winless.
But Trevor Lawrence said he's staying at school if he goes to the Jets.
Oh, jeez.
He said, "I'm staying at school."
before the draft. He can't really make it after he gets drafted.
No, he said no. He said he
If
would.
the Jets are the #1 pick, he's not gonna come
That's
out.
correct. That's correct. That's what he said. And I mean, if you look at the Jets, I don't
blame him.
They don't.
I don't blame
I really
him.
don't.
Yeah.
They're not a great team, and they're
No.
not a great
Nope.
management, not a great anything. Not a
By
great,
the way, quick update: 10-0 Rams now. 5:16 left to go in the first quarter.
That's not good.
Nope, not a good start.
Okay.
All
So
right.
that's kind of what I think. So would I like to see like a Dak Prescott on our team? Yeah, of course I would. Would I like to see somebody in the draft that they could start grooming? Yeah, absolutely too. I just don't have enough information. I don't have enough of a sample size of Cam to say. And I do think he's a good quarterback, and I think good quarterback, not a great quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback.
Right.
And I think he's a good bridge quarterback until we can find the next quarterback for the future. So do I think he's going to be on the team next year? My answer is yes. Do I think there could be like a little twist? Like we find somebody else? I mean, Carson Wentz? I mean, I don't know. I don't get excited to hear something like that. Dak Prescott? I might get excited about that. But again, he's injury prone and he's getting older. So it's one of those things where do we want to keep Cam? Do we want to keep Cam, which is a thought process, and then get the next quarterback for the future? That may be the right way to go. Instead of going, okay, we're going to have Cam for a year. We're going to have Dak Prescott for a year. We're going to have Carson Wentz for a year. And then we'll find it. That doesn't make any sense. Because you know that person, unless it's like somebody like Trevor Lawrence, you know he's not going to play right away.
Oh, yeah. No.
So it's one of those things where I'd rather have one quarterback and then find in the draft, and then find the quarterback for the future.
Sure.
That's what my thoughts are.
No, I completely agree.
What do you think?
I completely agree with you. I think if it comes down to it, unless they can get somebody like a Prescott or even like a Wentz, I think it's going to be Cam next year, personally, right now. But again, I have to kind of like what you said, get more information, see what they do in the draft, see what they do in free agency before I really,
see what they do in the next 4 games.
Yeah, see what they do in the next 4 games. See what they do.
See what
tonight.
happens in the next 4 games.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
See how things go. I mean, not. I mean, it's a good question. It's a great question, but it's not, and it's a great topic. It's one of those things where I don't.
But you just don't know yet. You just don't know yet.
I don't think anybody has enough sample size.
We're speculating. I mean, we're basically speculating at this point. Is what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's what everybody else is doing too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great question. It's a great segment, great speculation kind of situation, but I don't think we have enough sample size. Just don't.
Yeah, well, definitely a lot remains to be seen about the 2020 New England Patriots and beyond, looking ahead to 2021. Speaking of looking ahead to 2021, or really looking ahead to late 2020, coming up here in just the next week or two, I want to change gears and take a look at the Boston Celtics, who have made news in the past few weeks. Obviously, Gordon Hayward, no longer a member of the Boston Celtics, now a member of the Charlotte Hornets. And the Celtics were able to complete a sign and trade for Gordon Hayward and got back a nice little trade exception from the Charlotte Hornets. I was building up.
Being facetious?
Yeah.
It's like
just a little $20.5 million trade exception.
It's the largest trade exception
in NBA history.
Ever.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, it's
very true.
Not little.
But yeah, so after a lot of speculation that they may get nothing for Gordon Hayward, which is what it was looking like there for a little while, Danny Ainge able to complete the sign and trade with Charlotte, and like I said,
I think it was always there. I just don't think there were reports about it. There were a couple of insiders that said
could be.
something's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
Well,
Manic
we knew
said that there was
Charlotte
something going to
had
happen.
to. We knew Charlotte had to do something because they couldn't afford that contract just on their own salary cap.
No,
So.
they didn't, and they had to get rid of a guy too, and they had to have a team pick him up.
Right. So let me ask you, Doug. Now that it has been completed, and now that all the I's have been dotted and the T's and all that good stuff, what is your reaction to the sort of end result of the sign and trade that lands Gordon Hayward in Charlotte?
If Danny didn't get anything back, I'd be super upset. I mean, I'd be more upset if he didn't get anything back. Now, this isn't necessarily something yet. It's something that can be done in a year's time. So it may not even be this year that they do it. I think he will. I still think there are moves coming, possibly, but I don't know. Just because
season starts a week from now.
Okay, yes, but there's a couple of reasons why I say this, Rob.
Less than a week, actually.
The first reason is they usually have about 20 guys in camp, okay, and then they pick the best 15 to 17. They pick 15, and then 2 of them have two-way contracts. Issue is that the main Red Claws have opted out, which is a problem. And the reason it's a problem is because where do the two-way contracts go? Typically, those two-way contracts typically go to Maine. And if they opted out, the whole team opted out, which means that there's no Maine Red Claws. So the issue is how are they going to – I believe they have either 18 or 19 in camp right now. What's going to happen to those guys? Where are they going to go? Now, my feeling is that they're going to be able to have at least 17 on a team anyway, because they typically do that in the playoffs. They allow a couple of extra guys. The issue is going to be who? Now you know the regular players: Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Kemba. The regulars that are typically there. Tristan Thompson now. Jeff Teague. So these are the 2 new guys. So the issue is going to be, does Tremont Waters, who's on a 2-way contract, does he get a chance? Because he's not a bad player. He's like smaller than me. He's like this tall. But it doesn't matter. He played really well last year, and he was going to be on a 2-way, and so was Taco. Taco's still on the team. But he's got a 2-way. He signed a year contract, a 2-way year contract. So the issue, we want Taco. That's right, we do. We absolutely do, especially on Tuesdays. Anyway, so what it comes down to is what's really going to happen? How is Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge going to pick? And where are these guys going to go? I mean, do you take Javonte Green, or do you take Waters, or do you take – see, what it does is not having that Red Claw, not having that the Red Claws, it makes it limited to what you can do.
Right.
So my feeling is, and it may not be right this very second, but my feeling is that they may want to see what they can get for some of these guys.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Taco, or I'm not talking about anybody per se. I'm just saying they may want to see who they can bring in and kind of see what happens. It's just it's going to be really kind of complicated to see whether the NBA will allow 17 players, or will they going to allow 15. I don't have any idea at this time. I know I think they have 18 or 19 players in camp right now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. But with the Hayward thing, I don't have any problem getting rid of Hayward. The only issue I have is that when he's on, he is on. He is awesome.
He was Very
good
impressive.
player. Good, solid shooter from outside.
He was just too inconsistent. I think that was the problem.
Injuries and too inconsistent in injuries.
No, I understand that. Yeah, that's what I mean. The
obviously,
first injury, I think.
Obviously, the first injury was bad, and there was nothing you could do about that. And that was.
I don't think he never was able to fully get back because he got banged up in other ways and just
I think he was fine. I think he was fine though this year. He did a great job this past year.
Oh, yeah, no, he had a great season.
He had a great season, and that's what made his trade value go up, I think. And it makes sense. But to lose a player that can come off the bench and shoot.
Although, I will say I was still surprised that Charlotte gave him that amount of money.
I wasn't. It's Michael Jordan.
True.
Come on. I mean, seriously? Why is that?
I did not think he was.
I was surprised they were going to give him that money too, because of his inconsistency and his injuries.
Yeah, I just did not think that they were going to give him that much. I did not think that he was going to get that.
That's
much
a lot of money
in free agency, but goes to show you certain teams value guys certain ways, and obviously they valued him at $120 million for 4 years.
I wouldn't have. Hey, listen, if he was re-upping on the Celtics, I wouldn't give him that money.
No.
I would not give him that money. I'd trade his ass right out of here because he is not worth. To me, he's not worth $120 million. Maybe to another team he is, but to me, he's not worth $120 million.
Oh.
Absolutely not. Great player off the bench, not a starter anymore, but great player off the bench. Good for, maybe 15, 12 to 15 points, and a great ball mover too. He's definitely got that. At least this past year, you saw him. The assists went up. He was just a much better player. Felt a little bit more comfortable, I think, out there. Looked like, but do I have a problem with it? I only had a problem with it. If Danny didn't get anything back. He got nothing back, zero back. No sign and trade, no nothing.
That would have been.
And I'd
be
pissed.
Been really bad. But no,
then I'd be upset about
the fact that he was able to get that back, that trade exception, like you said, the largest in NBA history. That is certainly something.
What's really good is that you could use that. You could use that in the trade deadline. You can get two guys. You can get depending on what they are. You can get a couple of guys. You get a guy who can come in here and really help the team out, a veteran. So it's one of those things where I think he's I think he did a pretty good job, although everybody's upset. I don't know why they're still upset with him. He got something.
I think they're less upset.
They expected to get a player.
I think they're less upset.
Sometimes you don't.
I think they're less upset than when they thought that we were going to get nothing back for him. I think sort of tensions have cooled when it comes to Danny.
They have cooled off a little bit, but still, I think they wanted to play.
Discovered the fact that they were going to get something back.
You tell me who's on Charlotte that you want.
Nope, nothing.
There you go. That is your answer.
Well, you'd have to get Terry Rozier back.
You'd have to put a third team in there, Robbie. You'd have to put a third team to make the trade, to make a trade for a player work. Because there's nobody on Charlotte that you actually want. Actually, Gordon Hayward, I think, is the best player on the team now.
Quite possible. It's a strong possibility.
I don't know half the guys on Charlotte. I don't know half.
I don't even think I know a quarter.
I've heard of them, but I don't know too much. I don't even know.
But it's interesting. Speaking of making moves, the Celtics did. Obviously, Hayward is out, but we did bring some guys in this offseason. And those particular names being Jeff Teague and Tristan Thompson signing with the Boston Celtics in free agency. And the Thompson signing, especially because if you've been listening to me just in life or on this podcast for months, I have been railing. You probably shouldn't be. I have been saying for months, no, actually more like for years, that the Celtics needed big men help when it came to making moves and bringing guys in here. They needed to fill the depth at big men, and Tristan Thompson does just that. He is someone who could come in and really help, I feel like, at least in terms of that big man category. I mean, he had a lot of had success when he was big man depth. He had success when he was on the Cavaliers.
That would be Cleveland.
The Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think that was a very strong pickup. And Teague, obviously, because apparently we can't have enough guards on this team.
Dude, I know why they picked up Teague.
Why?
Because he's like a Gordon Hayward. He's a shooter off the bench. He's a good shooter.
He's a good player. Don't get me wrong.
He played for Atlanta. He played for Atlanta. He's a good guard. He's a guard, but he's a good player. He's a little taller than a guard, though.
But what was let's get this a bit further, Doug. What was your, you kind of just got into it on the Teague side there, but what was your sort of reaction to both those pickups, both Teague as well as Tristan Thompson?
I do like both pickups. There was a lot of rumors going around about the Celtics and a big man. We wanted to.
We needed a big man. We needed.
I know, and you've been saying it for years, and I get it. I understand. He's been saying it since Kendrick Perkins, man. It's crazy. He's been saying it for a long time. I get it. I've been saying it too. They need a big man. All their big men have been not good. Not good. Except for, Daniel Tice has been actually a very good center. He's good. He has a lot of blocks. He knows how to pass the ball. The only issue is that when he's against some of the bigger guys,
he has trouble. Yeah.
He's got trouble because he doesn't have the size to be able to take somebody down low. He can't do it.
Yeah.
He could block if they're a little ways out, but if they're in the paint, no way. He can't do it. He doesn't have the size to do it. Tristan Thompson has been doing this since he's been playing in the NBA. Did it for Cleveland. He's been very good, but he has the size. He's only 6'9", 6'9". But again, he's got long arms, long wingspan, and he's a shot blocker. But he's also developed a shot from outside, which has been really, really good. The last few years, he's developed this shot from outside, which is also very good. But I like the pickup. There was a couple of things about maybe Steve Adams from the Thunder, who was very good, or even to bring back Aaron Baines from Phoenix. I heard about that too. And by the way, Aaron Baines is still available, possibly for a backup position, because when Aaron Baines was here, he was pretty good because he's got that body.
He filled the role.
He's got the big body. So do I like the Tristan? I like the Tristan Thompson. Danny Ainge has had I was going to say it this way, but I'll say it because it's a clean show. He has had eyes for Tristan Thompson. That's not what I was going to say.
I had a feeling that what you were going to say. And I think it's good that you went the other way with that.
Yeah, so I decided not to go that other way, but just think of it in your mind what I was thinking.
I will type in the chat, but you cannot repeat it.
Okay. I will not repeat it. You can type it in. Yes, that's exactly what it is. So it begins with an A and ends with an on. Other than that, I'm not saying it.
Family show here.
I didn't say it.
No, I know.
So when it comes down to it, it's so interesting because we play Cleveland a lot during the regular season. So we're very used to seeing Tristan Thompson, and he was really a Celtics killer. Every time we went down low, he would block our shots. He would be really, really good. He's very, very good with that kind of thing. when we got him initially, I was like, and then I looked him up, a little research, looked him up because I didn't know what size, I didn't know how tall he was or anything like that. When I looked at it, I was like, seriously, 6'9.5"? Really? Seriously? I cannot research. So yes. So I looked him up, and what I did was I looked him up on YouTube, and I was, oh yeah, I remember this guy. This guy's a great presence down low, and that's what we need. We need that presence down low. So when LeBron James decides he's gonna go to the hoop, he's gonna have to deal with the big man. So that's just what it is. That's why we need him there. So with Jeff, I just think I think Danny's really liked him for a really long time. We had an opportunity to get him. I think it was a good pick, a good grab from free agency. The other is Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague, I think, is an underrated player. And the reason I think he's underrated is because Danny always loves shooters. He just does. Shooting's obviously part of the game. Hello. Got to score points.
Especially, you gotta score to win, man. Gotta
score to win. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you got to score when you're down by 3 in the fourth quarter. Most points wins. You're correct. If you're down by 3 in the fourth quarter, you need to have your Ray Allen. Now, am I saying Jeff Teague is Ray Allen? No. Not get that. I did not say that because they are two different people. I didn't say that. What I said is that it's the type that we're talking about. Jeff Teague is a shooter. He's also a ball handler. I think he's very good. What I like also is that he's a veteran. He's going to have a veteran presence, and I like that too. We have some veteran presence there. Jeff Teague is no Ray Allen. You're right. That's what I said, man. They're two. But he's got that veteran presence too. And I think that's something that we also need. Not a tremendous need because I think the team's pretty solid, but to have somebody like a Jeff Teague who can come off the bench and just hit threes like there's no tomorrow and have some pretty good ball movement, I think it was a really, really good pickup.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, Jeff Teague? Who the heck is Jeff Teague? Well, if you watch on YouTube what he actually does, he's a ball mover, he's a ball handler, and he's a shooter.
No, he's a good player.
Danny type. He's a Danny Ainge.
And I think he will fill a really good role on this team. Yes. By the way, just very quickly want to point out to everybody, I really don't. I'm going to. Cam just threw a pick 6, and it's now 17-0 Rams. Anyway, getting back into.
As you can tell, folks, I am drinking my water, and I'm not paying attention to the Patriots game at this time.
I'm just, like I said, I'm just getting updates on my phone. I really,
Glad you're getting them because I'm not. There it is. Okay, never mind. I got one. Son of a. Sorry. Anyway,
back to more pleasant subjects.
Back to more pleasant subject. So, Robbie, what do you think of the pickups?
I'm in complete agreement with you. I like them a lot. Thompson, again, I think fills that big man need very, very well. Obviously, do I think that they still need some help at big man? Absolutely. I mean, I don't think one pickup really fills that need completely. I think there's still more that they could do. But I thought it was a good pickup for the reasons that you said.
Go.
Shot blocking, not right now. But no, I mean, I think Thompson, with the shot blocking abilities and the offensive abilities, I think really will fit in a role very well here. And like you said, Teague, good shooter, good defensive guard, definitely a good role player.
Great defensive guard, by the way. I forgot the defensive part of that, Robbie. You're right. He's great.
No, very, very, very good defensive guard.
He's not like a Marcus Smart defense.
No, he's not a Marcus Smart.
He's good.
He definitely plays well on both ends of the floor, and that's what you need. That's what this team thrives on. and
Right.
so I think he will. I think they'll both fit in very well here. I really do. I still would like to see Danny do a little bit more, whether that be
I
as the
think he's going
season
to.
goes along, or
He
even
called me. He
within
said he
the
was going to do
coming
more.
week. Oh wow, boy, get Danny on the podcast.
I'm going to get Danny on the podcast. Hello, Danny. Out there, it's his answering service.
Speaking of current Celtics players, as we are fast approaching this 2020-2021 season with literally the first preseason game coming up just 4 days.
Dude, you didn't tell me it was 79 yards. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, you failed to mention that.
I was trying.
Pick 6, 79 yards. Oh, God. Okay, back to the show. Sorry.
Doug, we watched Doug have a moment of realization, folks.
Back to the show. Now let's do the podcast. Let's continue.
You might want to hide that shirt for the rest of the episode.
I'm hiding it right now. Nobody can see it now.
But some interesting news on the Celtics front, and that is that Kemba Walker will be missing the first sort of half a month here at least, or more like month of the regular season.
Hence the Jeff Teague signing too.
Yeah, he will be out till at least January.
Danny knew that.
And so I guess my question about that is I'm not necessarily surprised about it, because obviously, it sounded for a while like he's been having some lingering issues with that knee, and really
he just got an injection too.
Yeah, it's not near 100%. Heading into the season. But my question for you is, when it comes to Kemba, this is sort of putting two parts of a segment into one here, is sort of part A is, does Kemba being out, for the first month or so of the season change expectations for the season? And on top of that, what are the expectations for this 2020-2021 Boston Celtics season? As like I said, we're literally just a week away from gameplay, albeit preseason play, but from actual game action.
First, with the Kemba Walker thing, I'm definitely concerned. I think that's very, very concerning, and I think that's one of the reasons why we got Jeff Teague. I think you're going to see Marcus Smart most likely get the starting nod for that. And then when Kemba comes back, obviously we'll move back. But I think that's probably what you're going to see. Is you're going to see Marcus Smart and then Jeff Teague back up. It is concerning, and it's concerning because he wasn't playing right last year. I mean, this past year he was not playing right.
Yeah.
You could
he
tell
had his moments, but I feel like
he had a few moments, but not a lot.
You could tell that he was struggling out there.
He was. You could tell he was definitely struggling. You could tell that he was trying to push through it.
And the fact that they had to put him on a minutes restriction coming back after, by the way, they had been off for 4 months. Definitely was a bit concerning right out of the gate coming into that restart last year.
Yes.
Or this past summer, I should say.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Where do I think they're going to be? I think they're going to be – I'm actually really, really looking forward to this team. I know last year, Robbie and I know you and I had spoken before the season, and we were very excited about this past season. Not just because we got Kemba and so good to be able to get rid of the other guy. I'm not even going to mention his name.
Yeah.
But it was good to have Kemba, and good to see that we played really well. Every
we
game
made
was
it to
exciting.
Eastern Conference Finals. I understand that people thought that we should have won that finals, and I agree. I do. Do I think we reached our potential last year? No, I don't think. I think we could have very easily won the East and made it to the finals. But that being said, we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals in one of the weirdest years in NBA history.
Absolutely.
Playing
So
in front of no fans for that entire playoff.
Very
in a bubble in Florida.
Yes, very exciting. Fun to watch.
I'm going to go around and say I think Celtics are going to be a top 4 team in the East this year. I'm going to put that right out there. I'm going to put that right. I'm going to put that right out there today. Mark the tape. 9:14 p.m. Thursday, December 10th. I'm
all nerved up.
I am decreeing that the Celtics will be a top 4 team.
A decree? Is that like a proclamation?
Yes. I am proclaiming that the Celtics will be a top 4 team in the East in this 2020-2021 season.
Wow.
I know.
You heard it here first, folks. Robbie with the prediction. I actually agree with that. But I actually think they're going to be an exciting team to watch this year, too. I'm very excited to watch them. Should be interesting to see, again, with the stuff I was bringing up before, with the amount of players, the main rate clause not being in this at all, really, that I know of. At least right now, they're not. And to see how they're going to bring everything together, how Brad Stevens going to mold these new guys in, and to see who the starting 5 is, which we kind of have an idea who that is, but you never know. I've been hearing that Thompson's going to be out for a little while. Well, no, he's just going to be out for a portion of the right now. He's out right now. He's getting back, so he should be back toward the end of training camp. He had a slight pull, and was just injury. They want to make sure that he's all healed and everything like that. So I guess that's probably what he's doing. But it should be interesting because I've heard some things, some NBA insiders, even some Celtics insiders. Greg Mannix actually said that he thinks that Tice actually might start and that Thompson may come off the bench. I mean, I'm not sure if I agree with that, but or they might play them together. Don't know about that either. So it's one of those things where it should be really exciting and interesting to see who the top 5 is, because it's going to be a little different.
Yeah.
And then who are the backups? Who's going to come in? Who's second string? Who's going to come back? Who's going to come in for the other guys? So it should be interesting to see who's on the team too. And does Danny have something else up his sleeve? And does he use his exception before the season starts?
Yeah, a lot more remains to be seen. I feel like.
Yeah, but it should be. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm very excited about it. Very excited. I'm excited for basketball to be back. It feels like it just ended. All of a sudden, it's coming back. So I am very excited.
Well, what's interesting is
basketball season.
Hey, listen, Robbie, I just looked up. I just put into Google Kemba Walker. And it's interesting because this comes up. I'm not sure who this guy is, but it just came out December 8th, 2020, which I believe was yesterday.
2 days ago. Yeah.
It's a guy named Lorenzo Tenos. I don't know who that is. I didn't look up his bio, so I don't know who he is, but he's from the Inquisitor. I don't even know what that is either. Anyway, it says NBA rumors. Clippers could get Kemba Walker and Daniel Tice for 4 players in new trade idea.
I would want to see who we're exactly getting back
yes,
before
I would do.
Comment on that.
I would do. I have a feeling it's not Paul George.
You know how I feel about rumors.
Rumors? I know.
I feel about rumors. Well, until pen hits paper, I'm not paying them any mind. I'll react when something.
Oh, you know what? This is out of LA. That's probably why. It's out of LA. That's why we haven't heard it.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, definitely a lot of excitement surrounding the Celtics season, and very excited to see games get underway here in the coming week.
Yes.
So it's going to be very interesting.
Very much looking forward
actually,
to it.
Doug, before I move on to the final team on our show tonight, I did want to ask you this question that I found kind of interesting. obviously this year, this season, the NBA and NHL are not going to be using bubbles like they did for the end of last season, which, they did have a lot of success with the bubble format, sort of to end last regular season and the playoffs, definitely with no positive tests and keeping everybody healthy and, not having to worry about postponing games or stuff like that.
Very tough living in that bubble, though.
Given what we've seen out of the NFL and the MLB, obviously MLB season is over currently, but given what we saw out of the two leagues that are not using bubble formats, how concerned are you for the ability of the NBA and NHL to sort of hold a consistency of schedule when they are not using a bubble and in basically for the most part, with a few exceptions like Canadian teams, host cities for this season?
Yeah, I'm definitely concerned about that, considering our numbers in Massachusetts have gone up COVID-wise, and I know there's a vaccine out there. I know the Pfizer one just got approved today, which is great. We're not supposed to regular people, regular people,
yes.
As opposed to the irregular people. I don't know what that is. People with what? I don't understand. I didn't mean it that way. What I meant was what I meant was that they, obviously we are not regular. That's correct. I totally agree with that.
Anyone who listens to us or watches us,
anyone who watches us know that we are very irregular.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to that, we already know that the frontline people are going to get it first. So we're talking about the doctors and the people that work in hospitals and the.
By the way, big time shout out to all those people.
Oh yeah, huge.
All those people.
I worked at the Bethesda Hospital for 10 years. I experienced a lot there. I worked within the hospital itself. These people are the most incredible people in the world.
Absolutely.
And just want to,
salute you. We
definitely a shout out from the Sports Blitz.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Again, trying to keep us safe and stuff like that, and helping us out.
And hopefully you all stay safe as well.
Yes,
we
absolutely.
need you to
Sounds like the end of the show. We're not over yet. So
it was a perfect moment for it.
It was a perfect moment.
You were talking about it, so I had to
bring
it up.
So the people with who are in the nursing homes and stuff like that, the mature adults in the world are probably going to get it. They'll get it second. And then the people that have underlying conditions will probably get it too. We're not supposed to get this until April at the latest right now. We're not supposed to get the shot. So the issue that I have is, and what concerns me is that if they're not going to have a bubble like they did this past year, my concern is the same concern I had for MLB, which they had problems with. They were able to deal with them.
They did make it through a full season, though.
They did work it out, and I think the NBA will work it out too. I think the NBA had some really, really great protocols, even better than some of the other major league teams.
Right.
And I think that they'll be okay. Do I think that there'll be positive tests? Yes, there will. Yeah. And I'm hoping they work around that, and they probably will. And I'm sure they have a plan in place for that. But I am concerned about both. Concerned about that. Definitely.
As am I, no, definitely. And speaking of the NHL side of things, it's interesting. When I wrote this outline for the episode, which was just 2 days ago, there was a lot of concern about whether or not there would be an NHL season in 2020, 2021. But in the last day or two, those concerns have definitely evaded.
Invaded?
I don't know what the word I was looking for, but
no, the word was right. I was just busting on you.
Okay, thank you. I mean,
no worries.
If nothing else, you're good for busting on me. So
I do it all the time.
Of course, on and off air.
I think the word was fine. I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to clarify the word.
Clarification.
Clarification ended. Go ahead.
Okay. But the fears have definitely gone down as it was announced that the NHL and the NHL Players Association have agreed that the season will begin in mid-January. January 13th, I believe, is the target date to open what I guess you would technically call the 2021 season, since there will be no part of it played in 2020.
How can you call it
2020
20/21 when it's not? That's not.
That's
played in
20. Yeah.
I already did that.
We're not counting the part of it, the part of last season that was played in 20. So,
right.
So, but I guess my first question to you, Doug, is that knowing all that, knowing what has transpired over the last, 48 hours or so, how concerned, before that news came out, how concerned were you that there may not be an NHL season in 2020, 21, or 21, however you want to call it?
I wasn't really that concerned because I thought that they'd get it done. There was a slight concern up front in knowing that they were trying to figure out a date, and then they were like, well, I'm not sure if we're going to play, and I don't know about that. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that I was looking at, but I wasn't really that concerned about the fact that there wasn't going to be a season, because I was fairly sure that they were gonna
figure something out.
Yeah, they were gonna make it happen. They were gonna make it happen. So I wasn't really that concerned. How about you? Were you concerned about it?
I was a little bit I think I was a little bit more concerned than you were, but I think I would put myself at less than 50% in terms of concerned. I think that I just, again, and who knows how accurate some of this reporting was, but it just sounded like they were far off in a lot of ways, and that sort of bred some, some very not so good, sort of reporting there, and sort of, it just didn't sound good there for a while. But I'm glad that they have sort of been able to move forward and are, like I said, sort of full steam ahead at the moment, at least towards a 21 season. Now, obviously, with that being said, there's been a lot of talk, Doug, for the Bruins, sort of staying locally here, about where they will be playing home games in 21 in terms of this talk of indoor versus outdoor venues. And the potential for both. Obviously, I just saw a story yesterday that Charlie Baker, I guess, was over at TD Garden to discuss with the Bruins specifically the possibility of playing home games in front of, I think he said, about 7,500 fans to start off the season.
Not the way it's going now.
No, but I mean, that was just what was reported just yesterday.
Right. No, I heard the report.
He was over there meeting with them. But there's also been, again, the idea bounced around of maybe playing some home games at outdoor venues. Obviously, outdoors seems to be sort of the
Robbie's backyard.
The prevailing, yes. The arena's
Robbie's driveway
construction now.
Who votes for Robbie's driveway? I vote for Robbie's driveway.
Second, but no, like in all seriousness, obviously the talk obviously being the fact that outdoor events are definitely on the whole safer than indoor events, especially if you want to have the potential of maybe putting some amount of fans into seats for these home games. And the question I wanted to ask you, Doug, sort of again, probably just sort of talking hypothetically here, if the Bruins were to play home games at outdoor venues this year, or at a outdoor venue this year, what would sort of be your list of where you would want to see them play in terms of outdoor venues around this city and state, for that matter?
That's kind of interesting. I kind of like I know we've had different games like at Gillette Stadium, at Fenway. I'm just going to name a few. Even Boston College would be kind of a cool kind of venue to be able to go. Um, with the amount of fans that they possibly would have, all three of those would be fine. But something like that would be fine. I mean, I don't see an issue, with the outdoor
Stadium,
kind of situation.
Harvard Stadium is definitely one of
Yeah,
the sort of the history of it may make it for a cool venue, and you could
yeah,
definitely it is a little bit easier to sort of socially distance on the brick sort of rows as opposed to in set seats, so to speak. So
yeah.
just sort of throwing it out there. But yeah, BC. I mean, obviously, hey, listen, I would love nothing more than to see the Bruins playing at BC, a place that obviously Alumni Stadium, obviously a place that's sort of near and dear to me in terms of my BC football fandom.
Of
Uh,
course.
yeah, so and obviously then you sort of get the professional stadiums bounced around, Gillette and Fenway Park. Again, I mean it's Fenway Park more has been sort of the more prevailing professional, sort of other professional venue that's been thrown around in terms of outdoor um, stadiums. But it would be kind of interesting and cool, I think, to see the Bruins play some home outdoor games this season. Obviously, nothing is set in stone yet. Who knows what's going to happen? Obviously, the season's not starting up, as we were just talking about, for another month at least. So, obviously,
Yeah, they're still trying to figure it out too.
can
Yeah.
happen, between now and then. So, a lot remains to be seen. But I just thought it was very interesting, sort of thought there of, what the potential there for outdoor hockey, which we've had a lot of in New England over the past few years. So just something that could be coming down the pike. Uh, and we'll have to, again, like with anything, wait and see what happens in terms of
Yeah,
that, in terms of as we get closer and closer. Robbie's driveway, yeah, we get that Zamboni ready.
I'm ready.
Well, what I want to
Get
do
them.
now, Doug, is again, if you've watched or listened to our show, you know that sometimes we do like to sort of throw in these kind of fun games. Usually, they're ones that sort of Doug comes up with or researches or finds, and so we wanted to sort of throw one in here tonight as we begin to sort of head down the home stretch of episode 65 of the Sports Blitz. So, Doug, I'm going to kind of turn it over to you. Why don't you explain to our viewers sort of what you have found and sort of what the game is that we're going to be playing here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just going to play a game for a few minutes. It's kind of a fun thing to do on the show. Instead of just talking sports the whole time, we like to kind of throw out a little bit of a game. And what I came up with, it's, not necessarily a game I came up with. It's a game I heard about and I thought it was really cool. So I kind of did some research on it. And it's basically the worst contracts ever. And it doesn't matter what.
This is a good one.
Yeah, whatever team. It doesn't matter whether it's the NBA or it's hockey or basketball or it doesn't matter. Just most of mine are basketball related because some of the worst contracts.
By the way,
I
got to point out, I literally got this segment. I literally got this game idea 5 minutes before we came on the
That's
air.
correct. That's correct.
So I've sort of been brainstorming in my head.
No, that's okay. That's all right.
As we've been going along here. I got a few.
That makes sense. Yep.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to kick things off?
I kick things off first. So I'm going to go with this is a little back ways. This was in 1997. So it was back a few years. Talking about Brian Big Country Reeves. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him. He was a big guy from, I think he was from Indiana,
What
something like
sport?
that.
This will probably answer your question, but what sport are we even talking
NBA,
about?
NBA. These
Okay.
are all the ones I have are NBA. I have
Okay.
all NBA stuff. Right
Perfect, because
now.
all the ones I have are baseball or football, so perfect.
Exactly. So he got a 6-year, $61.8 million
Wow.
contract. Now you got to look, folks. You got to look this guy up because he was very tall. I think he was at least 7 feet, but he was horrible. He was horrible. He played 4 seasons, really bad, and he was terrible, absolutely terrible. Big dopey guy, kind of long, and just big, but just really, really terrible upfront contract. Robbie, what's yours? What do you got? You got one?
Yeah, I definitely have one, and it's one that's still, even though it's from, I want to say the early 90s, maybe, I forget exactly what year, it's one that's still being paid out today. That would be Bobby Bonilla and the New York Mets. By the way, for those of you who don't know the backstory, every year on a particular day, until the year like 2026 or whatever, maybe later than that, the New York Mets have to pay Bobby Bonilla $1.86 million annually because of the way they structured his contract. And he literally lasted like a couple of years for them and was then sort of had his career cut short due to, I don't know, I forget exactly something. But yeah, you want to talk about a deal that really comes back to bite you in the
Easter.
ass. Yeah, the Bobby Bonilla New York Mets deal definitely takes the cake on that one. By the way, a little bit of glimmer of hope here. The Patriots just kicked a field goal with 1:04 to go in the second quarter. So they currently trail 17-3.
That's a glimmer.
Little glimmer of momentum at home.
Touchdown to glimmer.
Hey, there's still a whole half left.
Oh
Anyway,
my gosh,
Doug, speaking of non-glimmers, what's another one you have?
Yeah, these are definitely non-glimmers. So in 2016, on the New York Knicks, picked up a guy named.
All you have to say is the New York Knicks. All you have to say is the New York Knicks.
New York Knicks. That's all I have to say.
New York Knicks.
Joakim Noah.
Wow. Oh yeah, the dude with crazy hair.
Yeah. 4 years, $72 million.
Yeah, I wonder how that worked out for him.
Right.
Not well.
Worked out horribly. It was a horrible contract. He really wasn't that great. He was kind of a dopey guy also. He was kind of like, I think he was trying to get back into the league last year, but nobody picked him up. So I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Got another one, Robbie? You want me to do another one?
I know, I got another one. I'm going to actually be local here with our good old Boston Red Sox and say Pablo Sandoval.
Oh.
Pablo Sandoval, yeah. Doug, I think, just threw up in his mouth a little bit.
I did. I did.
Yeah, Pablo Sandoval. I forget the exact terms. It was just bad. It was just really, really bad. Should not have signed him. Did not work out. And that's about all I have to say on that one.
Oh. So another one in 2016, a guy named Chandler Parsons.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
$94 million. $94 million.
For what team? The Rockets,
Memphis.
right?
Memphis. Yeah. Only played 95 games. But that's not bad. But still, I mean, that for Chandler Parsons, not a good player and not a good contract. Horrid.
Actually. All right. Sticking with the Red Sox. I'm shocked I'm sort of putting my own team on blast here, but it's well worth it. Carl Crawford the name Carl Crawford comes to mind. That whole deal of Carl Crawford just, again, came here, had such high hopes for him, and he just sucked. And he basically went out the door after like 1.5 seasons to LA, and never was heard from again.
That's great. That's great. So here's one that kind of is like, well, when you hear it, you'll be like, wait a minute, he was a pretty good player. Yeah, he was a great player. But the contract was horrible. So here it is, 1993. It was the Golden State Warriors. This was crazy. It was a 15-year deal.
Ooh, wow.
Number 1 pick, Chris Webber.
Wow.
Okay, so we're talking about $74.4 million over 15 years. And this is the kicker. This is what makes this contract horrible. You ready? Ready. He had an opt-out clause after the first year. That's crazy.
Wow.
Opt-out after 1 year? Are they crazy?
Probably.
Oh my.
Probably. Hey, it was before their heyday. It was before their heyday.
Hey, listen, Chris Webber was a great player. I'm not saying he wasn't. He was a great player, great college player too. My goodness.
Other than calling a timeout when he had none, but other than that, he was good.
Yeah, well, exactly. But what I'm saying is that opt out after a year. Well, how did they put that one in?
Yeah, that's not smartest.
I don't mind the actual terms of the contract. I mean, it's a long contract. If you think about it, 15 years at 74.4, not a bad contract for a player who's of his stature. The issue is the one opt out 1 year. That's the issue. It's horrible.
All right, so I've got 2 more. I'm going to kind of do them as a package deal here because they both go in the category of because they kind of go in the same category of NFL busts, and that would be Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell. I don't know what they paid them for how many years, but it was just a really bad idea because both those guys sucked in the NFL, and that's what I got.
Wow. Those are horrible.
Sweet and to the point.
So we have another one, New York Knicks.
Another one.
2005, Eddie Curry.
Any relation to Steph or Seth Curry?
No, I don't believe any relation. 6-year deal, $60 million. Ooh. He was horrid. He was a horrible player. It was really bad. The other one I have is also on the New York Knicks. As you could tell, the New York Knicks have done very well with contracts. Another one in New York Knicks, it was Allen Houston.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This was a 10-year, $100 million deal.
Why? Why would they do that to themselves? Allen Houston, not a terrible player, but still, that's way too much for him.
And this is one that just came out. This is my last one I have. This is in 2016. This was the Washington Wizards. It was a 4-year, $64 million deal. And it was for a guy named Jan Mahinmi. Who?
Huh?
That's what I'm talking about. Why?
What the hell?
I don't mind. I know that there's a lot of money in the NBA. I get that. And I don't mind the contracts as long as it's like Chris Webber. As long as it's like Kemba Walker or Marcus Smart or, somebody of value, please. I mean, who the heck is that? I mean, I've heard of him, but he was horrible. Horrible.
Well, thank you, Doug, for that lovely game.
Our game. We're going to have we'll have some more games down the road.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we do want to move on to sort of the end portion of this episode. Again, episode number 65. Who can believe it? And
can't believe it.
I know, right? And as we always do at the end of our episodes, we want to go into our final thoughts for the evening. So, Doug, let me kick it on over to you. What is your final thought for episode number 65?
My final. Ooh, I like how you said it. My final is
Why-
like 65.
Why the hell did you say
65.
that voice?
65
And
is my radio voice. Yes,
Yeah.
it's Don Pardo. Okay, so
today we're going to. Today the temperature is going to be 65 degrees.
it is 65.
And sunny.
65. I like to say it's
Smooth-
65.
With that smooth
Okay.
jazz.
Oh boy, please don't go anymore. Don't do anymore. That 65 was good, but the rest of it, Okay, so my final thought for the evening is what the morning show calls the dumbest of the day. So over the weekend we had a storm, a small one, or at least around here it was small. It wasn't that big of a deal, although they got some snow up in New Hampshire. But at some point in Boston, at some of the rest areas, it was snowing at a pretty good clip. So Channel 25, and I don't know. And
Oh my God!
say,
yes, I saw those.
I'm not going to say.
No,
I'm not going to say
give it
who the reporter is because I don't. First of all, I don't remember who it is. It's a lady reporter. I don't want to mess with that because that's not. It is here or there, and she obviously didn't know, and it's okay. So a Channel 25 reporter decided to go to a rest stop, and just as people were coming into the rest stop, just ask them how the driving was and how it is in Boston and where you came from and where you're going and that kind of thing. So they interviewed this particular guy, and he of course said he was from Canada and I'm used to this snow and it's not a big deal, and it's whatever. This is where he didn't tell her where she was going, but he had a couple of minutes of weather banter back and forth. What she didn't realize was who she was actually interviewing. Who she was actually interviewing is actually a National Hockey League player who is a Hall of Famer. He's from Canada, and she had no idea that she was actually speaking to a Hall of Fame hockey player. His name, Jerome McGinley.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest of the day. I'm sorry, I don't mean to take something from the morning show on WEI. I apologize, but that's got to be the
WEI is going to come after.
Don't really. Even the cameraman had no idea that this was a super great human being and a super great audience.
It's funny because there's been a few of those throughout the years of like professional athletes. I remember having like
Right.
Adrian Peterson once got interviewed and they had no idea. Clay Thompson got interviewed once and the reporter had no idea who was. So
Exactly.
it has happened before with
It has
very high profile players, but
just
it's
think it's
always really
funny.
when it happens. Yeah.
I just think it's really funny, and that's kind of a funny way to kind of to kind of end the episode number 65.
65.
And you,
all right.
Robbie, what is your final thought for this episode number 65?
So it's somewhat fitting because we were talking about BC and BC football earlier.
My shirt's kind of fitting too.
Yes. Okay. So it was announced today that BC football, who by the way had a relatively strong 2020 regular season, finished 6-5, and by the way, finished the season with 0 positive COVID tests for the entire.
Wait, hold on. Finished top. What was the record?
6-5.
Really? Now
Yes.
put those two together, and that's our episode.
Oh my god! Oh wow!
Oh my gosh! That's amazing. Sorry, I had to say that because it's just in my head.
Yeah. But no. So but was even more impressive this year is they actually finished with 0 positive COVID tests.
That's awesome.
Which was awesome. But so the decision that the BC football team made, and by the way, I want to emphasize that this was the players' decision, not coaches, not administration. The players themselves voted on this. they decided to forego a 2020 bowl game this year and end their season at 6-5. And the reason why I agree with and respect this decision is that these players who have put so much into this season, so much in particular into doing the right things to not have any positive tests throughout the entire season, they have been on campus, basically isolated on campus since June, away from their families, away from, loved ones, everything. And when it comes to being able to actually go home for the holidays or have to spend another 3 weeks on campus missing the holidays to play in a bowl game where who knows how many, if any, fans there would be. And really, it's not they would not be playing in a major level bowl game, obviously, finishing 6-5. I think that this is actually a very reasonable and mature decision to make. I think that these players really sort of put themselves and thought of themselves above, sort of thought of, the team above anything else. And I respect the decision because I cannot imagine what it would be like to basically from June through December to basically be stuck on a college campus other than, traveling to away games, to not be able to see my family in person and just to have all that. And so I think it's a very reasonable decision. Now, it kind of bothered me a little bit today. And again, I got to stop getting emotionally invested in takes of sports talk show radio hosts who obviously a day in and day out in this particular station show their anti-BC colors. By the way, I love...
Wait, can I guess who that is? I'm not going to say his name, but can I guess who it is?
Sure.
I'm going to write it. I'm going to write it. So
right.
Go ahead. You keep going. I'm going to write it.
And listen, I enjoy the show as a whole, but I definitely... No, surprisingly, no. Same network, though. Same network.
Really?
Yeah. Same network. One show earlier that gave it away to you, but they don't know what you typed. I know. It's crazy because I love this particular show, but they show such an anti-BC point of view on a constant basis. That part of it just drives me crazy. And they were basically, and again, I literally had to turn off the show. I got so, yes, and other one.
And the other one too?
Yeah, and other one. Yes.
Seriously?
100%, yeah. They both basically, both insinuated that the BC players were weak for making this decision. And that they should, it just, like I said, I had to literally turn off my radio. It made me so angry, just sort of knowing the fact that we are living in, by the way, I don't know if they noticed this. If they noticed this, we are living in a pandemic right now, folks. This is not your run-of-the-mill average football season. I know, right? Doug, it's crazy. We are, yes, I know, Doug. I know you've been living under a rock yourself for the past few months.
I have. My head hurts a little bit because the rock is up against my head when I sleep. So
it could be something else. You never know. But I just
craziness.
I really. This is one of the few times where I literally could not have disagreed with the take more by these guys, and actually had to turn off the show. I was so frustrated by it.
Oh, that's not good.
But yeah, I personally agree with BC's decision. I respect the players for making that decision. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I hope that they are able to enjoy their holidays, finally being back with their families after really battling this season. What was a very good season for them under a new head coach. I think the future of BC football is very bright going forward in a lot of ways. And so I just wanted to sort of give them that shout out and respect for for that decision making and just for their season in general. Now that it is officially come to a close. So
respect. Hey, listen, I wanted to say one last thing, one last final thought. It just came out today. First of all, I want to wish the Philadelphia Phillies good luck, because they just hired today Dave Dombrowski.
I
So
did
good
not
luck,
see
and
this. I did not see this.
yes, it just came out
Wow.
this afternoon. So
Wow.
I wish the Phillies good luck, and you won't have any money by the time Dombrowski's finished. So good luck with that. That was my final.
Well, let me ask you, Doug, just very quick, because I'm legitimately curious
Yeah.
about sort of my final thought, my decision. What are your, again, as we wrap up here, what are your thoughts about that particular decision?
To hire him?
No, about the BC. I was talking about
the BC decision?
Yeah.
No, I thought I think they were that's very, very mature decision. It's a decision that was probably not easy to do, because when you play college football, what do you want to do? What's your
win.
number one thing?
You want to play, you want to
win. You want to win, and you want to go to a bowl game.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Because you go to a bowl game, you win a bowl game, that's what you do. That's what college athletes do, especially college football athletes. So I thought it was very mature of them to do something like that. Am I against that? No. Do I think they're weak? No. Do I think they decided do I think they had a lot of factors to decide? COVID's out there. They would be going out of the bubble, I'm assuming. They'd be going to another place. I don't think they were having it at BC. So
right.
They would be out of the bubble. They'd be gone from their families. They wouldn't be able to enjoy. And I guarantee you, they've been out. You told me that they were away from their families since June.
Since June, yeah. And they'd be away from their families for the holidays.
Exactly.
And all of that.
Absolutely. And this is not the time to be away from family. So I don't have a problem with what they did at all. I don't think it makes them weak. I think it makes them mature. And there's actually, I applaud them for doing something and being mature that way, and doing something that may be against the grain. And there's nothing wrong with what they did. So I applaud them.
Yeah.
It was great.
Definitely agree. All right. So that is going to wrap up episode 65 of the Sports Blitz.
Wrap it up.
Wrapping it up. And
by the way, I just want to say to everybody who is of the Jewish faith.
Yes.
Happy Hanukkah to those
Hanukkah,
people who are on the Jewish faith.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that because it's the first night of Hanukkah.
Very, very fair point. Well said, Doug. And looking ahead to episode 66 coming up next, going to have a lot more on the Patriots. Yes, going to have a lot more on the Patriots. Obviously, Celtics season starting up.
Go Celtics!
Starting to look further ahead as Bruins season gets closer, and obviously, if anything Red Sox news comes up, we will definitely be bringing that to you as well.
And we'll have the Dave Dombrowski report next week too.
Sure. No. Anyway, that's going to do it for episode number 65 of the Sports Blitz. As always, that's Doug. I'm Robbie. And we will see you next time, folks, here on the Sports Blitz. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Subscribe.
Twitter,
Facebook.
Subscribe.
Everywhere.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
That's right. Facebook, SoundCloud, you name it, we're on it.
SoundCloud, thank you.
Yeah, we're on it.
We will see you next time here on the Sports Blitz, and stay safe.
Be safe, guys.
See ya.